Colts Nation, if helmets or helmet accessories interest you, make sure to go to greengridiron.com and use code INDSYN at checkout to get the discount code with it. Whether it's mini helmets, full-size helmets, visors, clips, whatever it may be, different face masks, different variations of helmets, alternate helmets, whatever the case, you can get it at Green Gridiron. And again, that's code INDSYN at checkout for the discount. Thanks for stopping by for another video, and now let's get into it. What's going on, Colts Nation? I appreciate you joining me for another video where today we have the joint practice update. I know a lot of you probably heard about a lot that went on, so this one I'm like for sure not about to make this half hour. Seemed like the Colts media, I don't know if a whole lot of them were even there. There weren't the same updates we had, so this one should go a little quicker. But for what it's worth, we're going to go ahead and dive right into this. And actually, before we dive into this, I would like to let you guys know, okay, if you are on Facebook, check out Nordy Creations, okay? My sisters are starting to create things. They're making me some shirts. They're making me some coasters. They already, been making stuff for people, but, they're trying to make some stuff. So whether you're Colts fan, Pacers, whatever it may be, or just anything else, they can customize stuff. So go over to Facebook, check them out. Again, that is Nordy Creations, Nordy Creations on Facebook, and go check them out and let them know if you want anything. Whenever I get whatever they give me, I will show it off on stream so you guys can see it, and hopefully we can make some stuff happen there. They're doing really good work. The stuff that they're doing looks so good, especially for just starting out. So really proud of what they're doing, and hope you guys will check that out for me. But here we go. We're going to start. Anthony Richardson. This is where I wanted to start. I saved this, and we're going to have a separate video about Anthony Richardson. But I do want to go through or wanted to start here because what we saw in the joint practice was really good. And I think this is a great mindset to have. I don't know if you guys saw this. Let me make this bigger for you guys. There we go. Okay. Anthony Richardson on the quarterback competition with Daniel Jones said, quote, "Even if they brought Tom Brady in here, he's the greatest, but I'd just have to work and try to beat him out. It's a me versus me type of thing," which is the exact right mindset you want a guy to have, right? Me versus me. And that's in life, right? So everything you approach in life, it's me versus me, man. And just trying to be the better version of yourself, right? Are you going to be the better me, or are you going to fall into the bad patterns of me, right? So really like that mindset. So that's a good place to start as we continue to go here. I think you guys going to really like what we're doing in the in terms of everything that was going on in joint practice. Here we start with the wide receiver warm-ups, quick feet, of course, Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, Ashton Doolin, smooth operators. And here we go. Colts wide receiver A.D. Mitchell's cooking in one-on-ones. That is a common theme for the video. Maybe the biggest thing to come out of joint practice is A.D. Mitchell being an absolute dog. Everything we've always said he could be is starting to show up. And it showed up today against the Ravens, whether it was one-on-ones or team periods. A.D. Mitchell and Anthony Richardson were on fire, man. They were cooking, and I love seeing that connection happen. That connection has struggled so much in practices last year, throughout the season last year, early in practices this year, and now this connection is finally starting to happen. A.D. Mitchell really starting to show himself, and I love everything about that. Okay, now, again, some of these guys, I think this is Baltimore media as well. I got as much as I could from the practice. Ravens D versus Colts O notes so far. So the Ravens defense against our offense. Indianapolis wide receivers won the 1v1. And for what it's worth, both offenses won the 1v1s. It's just the way 1v1s typically go. The receivers know what routes they're about to run. So one-on-ones is, you can only gather so much from those. But nonetheless, both sides, Ravens offense was cooking against our DBs. And again, for what it's worth, we don't have a couple of our top DBs out there. But our offense was cooking. Alec Pierce stood out. Byhal Cone had a few nice reps. I assume that's somebody on the Ravens that I've never heard of. Baltimore's run defense looks really stout in team drills. So you'd like to see our offense be able to work better and be able to get the run going. And hopefully they're able to get into a rhythm with Jonathan Taylor in the backfield, but we'll see how that goes as the preseason and the season starts up. Colts seem to be confusing the defense with motions and shifting formations. So kind of what we saw in the first year of Shane Steichen was a lot of motions, a lot of shifts. We saw less creativity last year, which I thought was very odd. Going in Anthony Richardson's second year where you need him to take a leap, and we stopped doing all the creative stuff, and I didn't like that. So it's good to see this year we're getting back to Shane Steichen getting in his bag. That's exactly what you want to see as we go against these other teams. Anthony Calhoun, shout out, been in Indy for a long time with Wish TV. Colts A.D. Mitchell with an outstanding catch from AR. So far, I have not seen any of the videos of A.D. Mitchell making these plays. Hopefully, I'm able to get those to you and be able to show you that the next time we have a video over something. But hopefully, those come out soon. Colts wideout A.D. Mitchell just beat Nate Wiggins on a 45-yard deep ball, and I believe that was Anthony Richardson throwing in the ball. Beautiful ball is what I saw. I think there's going to be an update somewhere about that. Ravens sent a blitz, but didn't get home. Anthony Richardson had all day to throw. They sent a blitz, and we had all day to throw. And Anthony being able to read the blitz, the offensive line being able to read the blitz, being able to pick it up and being able to make the play, the throw down the field, 45 yards, massive play for the Colts. You love to see it. Now, for as much as we want to see the Colts doing well, this is the Ravens. Really well run organization, really well coached, a lot of good players. So you knew there was going to be some back and forth. That's kind of exactly what we ended up getting. Lamar, 5 for 9 passing through the first few 11 on 11 periods against the Colts. Pass protection wasn't great. Highlight was Lamar scrambling right, throwing back to the middle of the field, which was not a complete sentence, so shout out, but throwing back to the middle of the field to an open Rashad Bateman, who made a leaping grab. So those extended plays, a lot of dirty things can happen when you let the quarterback start moving around. That's why you want to make sure you're setting the pocket and not letting the quarterback escape. It's harder said than done, especially with Lamar, or easier said than done. Especially with a guy like Lamar Jackson, extremely dynamic, 2-time MVP. So he was able to get out, find his guy. But then you have the Colts' first-string defense turning the tide in the last few full team periods, which is kind of a theme of what we saw, where the Colts defense was able to make adjustments throughout these different periods and really start to shut things down. And they had in these team periods, Lamar Jackson just 2 for 7. Over the last 3 team periods, uncharacteristic drop by DeAndre Hopkins and some sniffed out plays by Lamar that he had at dirt. Good coverage on a deep shot to Rashad Bateman too. So shout out, even though we don't have a couple of our top corners, still able to get our hands on a couple things and still able to make life difficult for the Ravens offense. And this is really important because we're not going to see the Ravens starters. Presumably, I just assume we're not going to see the Ravens starters in the preseason game, even though obviously AR and the starters, and you have Daniel Jones in the second team, they're going to be playing. But it's nice to see good work against a good team and us able to make things happen. The defense seemingly, whether it's the defense going against our offense or the defense going against the Ravens now, this new defense really showing up, the aggressiveness really going to be a problem for teams as we go through the year with the talent that we have. Now, we have Colts wide receiver A.D. Mitchell, who just burned Ravens cornerback Nate Wiggins on a deep ball. Quarterback Anthony Richardson threw it on the money, and Mitchell readjusted to snatch it near the sideline and keep his feet inbound. Incredible body control. So love to see that again. That connection continuing to go is exactly what you want to see. You have to, and Anthony Calhoun, you have to give Colts offense credit, looking very strong against the Ravens. Love that. Just thank you. I was so worried we were going to come into the Ravens house and get bullied. That was not the case. Okay, love to see that we were able to make plays against a really good team. A.D. Mitchell has dominated the first hour of practice. Let me read that again. A.D. Mitchell has dominated the first hour of practice, burned every DB in one-on-ones, and made a few catches in 11-on-11s, including one just now for about 40 yards from Richardson. Love hearing that. Shout out Jake Arthur being there and being able to get that information out. Colts returner just torched Ravens special teams down the sideline. Now, I did comment on this saying that was probably Anthony Gould. Go ahead, put some respect on his name, please. So, like that the special teams is doing well. In the first couple years of Brian Mason, our special teams has gone downhill. Our special teams has been a liability, especially last year. So really like that we're able to get things done on special teams. It's a good little note right there. Stephen Holder was at practice. He said Colts wide receiver A.D. Mitchell is dominating today's joint practice with the Ravens. During one-on-ones, he caught a ball deep from Richardson, then turned to that is James Boyd, excuse me, and Stephen Holder and said, quote, "I told you." That was a reference to what he said after the previous play, which I can't repeat, which would be interesting to see what that is. Now, as we continue to go here, Noah Compton replies to what we saw earlier, the 2 for 7 over the past 3 periods, said, sounds like the Colts starting defense has been giving Lamar Jackson and company fits, particularly in the passing game, which you love to see, right? Everybody doubts Anthony. Let him keep doubting. Let him keep sleeping. They're over here waking up a sleeping giant. These dudes have no idea how the league doesn't know how good this team can be with good quarterback play. They have no idea what we're about to show the league now that we're going to get good quarterback play. Now, Colts rookie cornerback Justin Wally had a huge pass breakup during 11-on-11 work against Rashad Bateman. Bateman had a great effort and was so close. Lamar Jackson had street ball improvisation and ended up hitting Bateman in the middle of the field. Spent my time with offense first, so yeah, note that's not needed. But nonetheless, Justin Wally out here making plays. Love to see it. Colts defense won the early 11-on-11 battle against the Ravens offense, but it's so hard to tell without full speed, which isn't like I don't understand what full speed is. Nobody else said it wasn't full speed, so I'd be interested to know. Like we're doing a joint practice, not full speed. That doesn't really make sense. Without full speed and Lamar and Henry being able to do their thing, that again I don't understand. You're getting the run game involved in some way. So I don't know. Maybe it just wasn't set up that way. But nonetheless, seems like somebody in the Baltimore media trying to make excuses for their people. I understand that. Colts pass rush, giving the O-line some issues. Love it. Great. Love hearing that our pass rush is getting home against what I believe to be a really solid offensive line. DeAndre Hopkins had a drop. And then as we go, Nate Atkins, shout out, another big A.D. Mitchell practice. He's roasting defenders deep, playing through penalties and catching everything that comes his way. And he's talking some smack. He got his swagger back for sure. Some good, some bad for Ravens offense against Colts. Early in red zone period, offense has been much sharper in the red zone period, highlighted by a Jackson to Andrews touchdown. Now, we do have, and we'll see an update about this, Hunter Waller out here getting a couple interceptions against Lamar Jackson. Love to see it. Getting some work out there. At least one of these was against Lamar Jackson, throwing to the middle of the field, which again, we'll see an update here. But nice to see Hunter being able to get active in practice and get a couple picks. Now we have Ravens' first string offense scored on almost every play in red zone period. Zay Flowers on an end around, Mark Andrews with a catch, and Justice Hill on a screen all found the end zone. Offense fell into a rut afterwards. Penalty wiped out a run touchdown, and a blown block ruined a shot at the 4. So it's kind of what we were talking about earlier, where the defense was able to make their adjustments and start to find their rhythm and shut down the offense. So starting out, giving up some touchdowns early. Again, little back and forth, right? You throw a jab, I throw a jab. You throw a hook, I throw a hook. Kind of what you had to expect going into this practice. So it's good to see that we're not just getting walloped in the red zone. A little bit of both, right? Gave up some touchdowns, but able to make some plays. Then you have the benches clearing. There was a fight. Tyler Goodson was the returner on a special teams play. Nate Wiggins ended up getting kicked out of practice, came in throwing punches. Tyler Goodson, I think, took exception to something, I think is what I ended up seeing. A Ravens rookie, Kenyon Martin, I believe, some extracurricular after after the play was over. And overall, benches clearing brawl for the last time we had practice with the Ravens. Benches cleared in a brawl. This time, Nate Wiggins gets thrown out, and I assume he was already upset because he had been getting torched by A.D. Mitchell all day. So, shout out. A guy that I knew coming into the league, he was going to be really good, and A.D. Mitchell was cooking, bro. Stay mad, son. Stay mad, right? Ever since pads come on, it's clear that Colts wide receiver A.D. Mitchell has unlocked part of himself that was seemingly lost in the string of practices before they threw on the pads. Perhaps coincidental timing, but I think it's evident he regained his confidence. Just hope he takes that momentum to Sundays, which is exactly right. You hope he comes out of this training camp and preseason and continues to make plays. And it'll be interesting. Alec Pierce has been balling out. A.D. Mitchell's balling out. Who's going to get those reps? How the packages we could see this year could change from what we saw last year, and I'm ready to see it. Good little picture here of Latu here. Now we have Jay Robbins saying, Colts had a strong showing in Baltimore for the first joint practice today. A.D. Mitchell has stacked several strong days. Hands looking better as of late. Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones both impressed. Richardson started, and then Wally made a pair of good plays. And then here we have the update. Hunter Wohler playing at the linebacker position intercepted Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson in 11-on-11 work. And then teams getting a full field 2-minute drill at the end of practice. Jackson was picked off throwing across his body in the middle of the field in Baltimore's possession. And then the Colts missed a 50-plus yard field goal to end theirs. So the Colts at least able to get down the field a little bit. Seemingly, what would that be, a 50-yard field goal? So they were at the 33-yard line, I believe that would be. And were able to get down the field. But at the end, ended up missing a kick. You want to see the kicker be able to hit that. And for the most part, Spencer Schrader's been hitting the 50s, but you want to be able to see him hit those consistently. They were outdoors. You're going to have to make kicks outdoors, especially in December and January. So as we finish off here, first sessions on 11-on-11. Anthony Richardson went 3 of 4. Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, Michael Pittman Jr., Daniel Jones 2 of 2 to Anthony Goulden, A.D. Mitchell. Now, a little note before we finish up here. On something that happened. Justin Wally left the practice, didn't do the last half of practice with a knee injury. He was seen walking around, but it was wrapped up, seemingly nothing too serious. He'll be fine. He's obviously not going to be playing in the preseason if there's an injury. I'd be shocked if he practiced much next week, but we'll see. Right, we'll see if he's able to come back. Now that makes our top 3 options for cornerback 2 that are out. So at this point, sit Charvarius Ward, make sure he's not going to get hurt. We're so deep at corner finally, and now they're all getting hurt. So really need these guys to get healthy, really need these guys to come back and get some reps in before the season starts. So extremely unfortunate. Injuries are going to happen. We're going to have to be able to bounce back and be able to play through that, but not what you want to see. But overall, sounds like for the most part, from everything I've seen, like some back and forth, but the edge goes to the Colts on this practice. So going into the preseason game, exactly what you want to see coming out of this practice and going into the preseason game. Anthony Richardson should play about a quarter and a half. Daniel Jones is going to play. And then against the Packers, that's going to flip-flop. Daniel Jones will be with the starters, play about a quarter and a half, and then Anthony Richardson will play. So that's the plan going forward. And you guys let me know your thoughts on everything you've heard, everything you heard here, how you feel about the Colts after this joint practice. We're not going against our own team. How do you feel about us now? You let me know down in the comment section. Of course, make sure you hit the like button if you enjoy the content. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you continue to get notified anytime we drop any content on this channel. Of course, I appreciate you stopping by for another video. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.